Well, good afternoon. I had hoped today that we would be voting on the Women and Girls in Sports Act introduced by Senator Tuberville. And so we had a procedural vote on that. Obviously, the Democrats decided to take it down and not even allow us the opportunity to debate this bill. And obviously, I think as most of you know, sports is a big part of my family's life. And I have daughters who are female athletes. I now have a granddaughter who is playing soccer and basketball. And it's hard for me to comprehend a scenario where they would have to compete against biological males. This is an issue that I think is just a matter of common sense, honestly, first and foremost, and it's an issue on which the American people agree with us. Almost 80% of the American people and a majority of Democrats believe that biological males shouldn't be competing against girls in sports. And so, notwithstanding the Democrats' opposition and their blocking of this initiative, fortunately the President took action through an executive order to make sure that that is the case. But it would have been nice to have had an opportunity at least to debate on the floor of the United States Senate this legislation and an opportunity to codify it so that it doesn't change when a new administration takes power. But I just believe fundamentally that this is an example of the Democrats using the filibuster to block a piece of legislation, a filibuster that just as recently as a few months ago they wanted to get rid of, you remember, so that they could move their agenda forward. And now they use the filibuster to prevent us from even getting on and debating the Women and Girls in Sports Act. And I think that's unfortunate. I think it's a huge disservice and incredibly unfair to girls and women across this country who have an opportunity to compete on a level playing field and then get chances to get college scholarships and everything that comes with that. And it used to be that the Democrats were champions of and defended Title IX. I have never seen such an abandonment of a core principle as what we saw on the floor of the Senate last night when we had this vote. But I'm happy that our champion of this, our sponsor, Coach Tuberville, is here, and I'm going to hand it off to him and then to a Division I athlete, Shelley Capito, to speak to this subject as well. Coach.
Thank you.
Oh, there you are.
Yep,
sorry,
thank
turned
you.
The wrong way.
Yeah, thank you. You know, I sat up last night trying to think of a word to describe what happened yesterday to girls and women across this country. I still hadn't come up with it. Amazing to me that anybody would be against girls and women's sports. But that's what happened yesterday. For the third time since I've been here, going on 5 years. I spent all my life in coaching. And the best thing that's ever happened to women and women's sports is Title IX. Well, folks, it's being attacked, and attacked daily by the Democrats. There is no reason why that should not have been a 100-0 vote. It makes no sense. It really doesn't. And I want you to look at this. Women's sports is being attacked. Men and women's sports, the Democrats say there's only a few. Well, it doesn't take but one to injure somebody. Again, I've spent my entire life watching competition, and this is a no-nonsense vote of voting for girls and women. And here's what's going to happen. We've got high school teams across this country. Democrats say there's only a few, but we have complete high school teams across this country that are transgender boys on women's teams. Complete teams. And it is gaining momentum. So let's go ahead and run women's sports into the ground and do away with it. Let's go ahead and cancel it right now because that's what they're saying. Here's another deal. NIL, money going to athletes, which I'm fine with because athletes work hard, but the problem is none of the money is going to women's sports. So what's going to happen? What's going to happen is we're going to have transgenders in women's sports, and now we're taking all the women's sports and saying we do not have funding for you because the money has to go to NIL. Folks, we are ruining women's athletics. It will be over with in a very short period of time, only because the Democratic colleagues either hate Donald Trump so bad or they just think that they know better than everybody else and they want to change to one gender or 60 genders. It makes no sense to me. So Today I'm challenging my Democratic colleagues. Think about it. Sleep on it. Understand it, because you're going to have to own every bit of this, because every Republican voted for it, every Democrat voted against it. It'll come out again in the next few years, and we're going to try to get it passed. Thanks to President Trump for doing an executive order, but as we all know, that doesn't last. We're going to get this done one way or another, and I think the American people will speak next time when they see in their state what senator voted against women's sports, and they should be run out of town, because it is absolutely not political, it's common sense. Thank you.
Senator Capito.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I can hardly top Senator Tuberville and his passion for women's sports, but also for sports in general and fairness. This is about fairness. And as Senator Thune mentioned, believe it or not, I was a Division I athlete. I played tennis back a long time ago. And I was thinking about it. If I'd had a biological male on my tennis team, I would not have been on the team, because I was the last one in. They play 6 singles. I was number 6. And if I'd had to compete on a playing field or on the tennis court with a biological male, in all likelihood, I would have not made that team. So how would that have changed my life? What you learn on the playing fields, and our daughter was a Division I athlete too, and she got my husband's height, so she played volleyball. What would I have missed? I'd have missed the concept of teamwork that we work on every day here. I'd have missed how to win, how to lose. I'd have missed how to be a leader, how to be a captain, how to speak up for yourself. I would have missed things like etiquette on the court and learning how to be strategic. All of the things that sports give anybody who plays, and the joy that comes from it is just, I think, sometimes inexplicable. And some of my best friends are the people that I've met through my life playing all different kinds of sports. And so I would say the fact that not one Democrat voted for this is inexplicable. It's taking away the joy of many women and girls who play sports all across this country. And we need more and more girls and women playing. So I would hope that they would rethink their positions, look at the fairness aspect of this, and say to themselves, now I have 4 granddaughters. Hopefully one of them will be on a playing field that I can watch her excel, or at least have a good time with all her friends. Thank you all so much.
Questions for Senators Tuberville or Capito? Okay.
Do you support the President's decision to pause military aid to Ukraine, and how long should that pause go on for?
Well, it's a pause, importantly, not a stop, and I think it's a part of a negotiation. And I'm hopeful that in the end we'll get folks to the table and be able to negotiate a deal that will bring a peaceful resolution to this 3 years long conflict, and one hopefully that will respect the sovereignty of the Ukrainian people and make the world more safe.
Prices are going up for lumber, cars, corn. Your farmers in South Dakota certainly rely a lot on the agriculture there to export and import. And so are these tariffs smart for your constituents who are already hurting from high prices?
I think these tariffs are oriented around a specific objective. In this case, to reduce the amount of fentanyl coming into this country across our northern and southern borders. And, so these tariffs, I think, are hopefully temporary. Obviously, I come from a state that is, our #1 industry is agriculture, so we care a lot about being able to export. A lot of our product in South Dakota hits the export market. And trade is an important part of our economy in our state. So I pay a lot of attention to it. This is clear to me something where the President, who, by the way, has used this tool in the past to get a specific outcome, is trying to achieve that again. And in this case, it's to reduce the amount of fentanyl flowing into this country across our northern and southern borders.
But these are not temporary. These are long-term. If prices continue to go up, will you stand by the President through and through on this?
Well, what I'm willing to do is give the President some latitude to try and accomplish the objective he seeks to get done here. I think, as you know, I'm a different place on tariffs probably than some of my colleagues, and certainly maybe the administration. But at the end of the day, it's really about trying to achieve the desired result, which, as I said, is very clear in what the President's trying to get done here. And hopefully, when it's all said and done, this won't be something that will create a lot of disruption to the markets in states like mine, South Dakota, where we very much are dependent upon agriculture. Thank you. Thanks, guys.